Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another R&R episode, reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing in the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. In the past 2 weeks I've been playing a ton of games. Played 27 different games. I'm going to go into detail about 10 of them. The other 17 I'm not going to go into detail because I've talked about them on previous R&Rs. But for the first time ever, I'll let you know the other 17 games that I've been playing. Just quickly, I played 4 of these solo roll and write games that I like. Fleet the Dice game, Trails of Tucana, Hadrian's Wall, and Medici the Dice game. Hadrian's Wall, Trails of Tucana, and Fleet the Dice game. 3 of my all-time favorite games. Roll and writes, I should say. Great games, very fun solo. Played The Lost Expedition, which is another solo game that I really like. Played Cosmic Colonies, a tile-laying polyomino placing game. Super fun. I also played Sprawlopolis, another solo little game. Played Splendor. There was a new person in my group, so I thought I'd break out Splendor for the first time in a while. Fun game. Fury of Dracula, a really fun hidden movement game. Played Marvel Champions a bunch this week in preparation of making a video that actually went up before this one for all the new products. Played Hand and Foot with the family in this classic card game that I play with my family pretty much every other week. Also played Nidavellir a few times, a drafting game that involves dwarves. Love drafting, love dwarves, so obviously I like this game. Played High Society, a fast bidding game. Silver and Gold, another flip and write game, very simple. Architects of the West Kingdom I got to the table again this week, one of my favorite worker placement games. Played It's a Wonderful World quite a few times. My entire game group likes It's a Wonderful World, so we've been playing it quite a bit. We also played Guillotine, fast card game. And let's get down to the actual games I'm going to be reviewing this week, starting with Bunny Kingdom. Bunny Kingdoms is a drafting game that has players trying to build large fiefs of bunnies to score points. The board is laid out into a grid. There is 4 rounds, and each round players will be drafting and passing cards, and these cards will do a few different things. One type of card lets you place out a bunny on a certain grid spot, others will let you build buildings or put different resources on your spots, and others will just be endgame points. At the end of each round, you will score points for your fiefs by multiplying the building power by how many different resources are in that particular fief. I really do like this game a lot, giving it an 8 rating. I love that each round is filled with difficult choices of which card to take, plus this does have a pretty cool looking table presence in my opinion. Let's go to the next game of the week, Carcassonne. Carcassonne is one of the granddaddies of the tile-laying genre, and one of the first modern games a lot of us have played. On your turn, you will draw a tile and place it onto the table, connecting to the other tiles in a way that makes sense. So you are essentially building your own board in this game. After you place a tile, you can put your meeple down on one of the features such as castles, roads, monasteries, or farms. Once that feature is completely built, you score points and get to take your meeples back. Highest score wins at the end of the game. I'm giving this game a 6.5 rating, so I do still enjoy it, but I think it's about time I let this game go and give it to someone else who will play it more often, since I haven't actually played this game in about 2 years since last week. Going to a very anticipated game for me, The Crew Mission Deep Sea. The Crew Mission Deep Sea is the sequel to the highly successful original The Crew The Quest for Planet 9. But really, from now on, I will be referring to this game as Crew 2. This is a cooperative trick-taking game, very much like the original. The main difference in this one is the objectives that have to be completed each turn. In the original, it was mostly stuff like you had to win the trick with the red 8 involved in it. In this one, the objectives are much more varied and give even more variability to this game. Now, I rate the original Crew a 10, but I like this one even better, so I don't know. I'll rate this one a 10 with a bonus Paul Rudd face. The Crew is just one of my all-time favorite games and is my favorite card game currently. Let's move on to another card game, Air, Land, and Sea. Air, Land, and Sea is a 2-player only battling game. In this game, players are dealt 6 battle cards. On your turn, you will place one of your cards in one of the 3 battle arenas, air, land, or sea, which is dictated by your card where you can place it. The cards will have a strength number on it and some kind of ability as well, which will do things to disrupt the regular flow of the game. Your goal is to have the most power in at least 2 of the arenas to win the battle. On your turn, if it looks like you are going to lose, you can always withdraw from the battle early. If you withdraw early, your opponent will get less points than they would if you would play out all of the cards in your hand. The first player to reach 12 points wins. This is a great 2-player game that I'll give a 7 rating to, and I am also getting rid of this edition solely based on there is a new edition coming out that has gone a different art style that I think I'll enjoy a little bit more than this. Going on to the next game, Unlock a Noside Story. Unlock a Noside Story is in the Unlock series of games, which are basically escape rooms in a box that are app assisted. So in this game, you will get a deck of cards and will be revealing new cards every so often by discovering new clues and figuring out little riddles. This was my first experience with any of the Unlock games, but I found this game to be quite clever with the clues and riddles, and this particular Unlock game was said to be the beginner level difficulty and a good introduction to the series. I'm giving this one a 7 rating. I thought it was fun to be looking for these clues and trying to solve everything, but my one critique of it is some of the clues are tiny little numbers that even when I found it and I showed my friend that has less than perfect vision, he was having trouble seeing it even when I pointed it out. So just be aware of that. Next, we have another small card game, Illusion. Illusion is a simple game about putting cards in a row according to what percentage a certain color has it on its card. On your turn, you will draw a card which has some kind of funky illusion type illustration on the card with multiple colors. It is your job to put that card in the correct order of the line from least percentage of a color to most. The color is predetermined before the round. On your turn, if you don't think the line is correct anymore, you can challenge it. You flip over all the cards which show the percentage of all the colors on the cards. If you were correct to challenge it, meaning the order was wrong, you get that card and that point. If you were wrong and the colors were correct, the card goes to the previous player. Once a player gets so many points, they win the game. I'm giving this game a 6.5 rating, but I will say this is one of those games that is just going to absolutely blow some people away, much like games like The Mind do. So I only think it's an average game, but I think it's unique and quirky enough that I would recommend it for people. Next game up is Qwinto. Qwinto is a simple roll and write game in the same family as one of the classics in the genre, Quicks. On your turn, you take and roll 1, 2, or 3 of the colored dice. You add up all the numbers, and you can place that number on any of the 3 lines that is a color of the dice that you rolled. You must make sure the numbers go from left to right in ascending order, but you don't have to place them in order. You can skip spots if you would like to. You will do this until someone can't place a number 4 times, or if one player has 2 rows completely filled up. You will score points based on how many spots in each row you filled, plus get bonus points if you filled columns completely up that contain a hexagon shape. This game gets a 5 rating from me. If I had played this 6 years ago when it came out, I probably would have gotten a much higher score. But there are too many games now that do this type of thing, and in my opinion, do them better and in a more interesting fashion. Going to a highly talked about game now with Barenpark. Barenpark is a polyomino tile placing game by my man Phil Walker Harding. In this game, you will be building up your bear park, and once a player has filled up 4 whole player boards with tiles, the end game is triggered. On your turn, you are going to place a tile in your supply onto one of your boards. Any symbols you cover up, you get to take that action, which is basically either taking certain tiles to place into your supply or getting another player board to add to your park. Some tiles will have points printed on them, and there are 3 communal goals which players will score points in order of whoever completes them first. I'm giving this game a 7 rating. Much like most of this designer's games, it is a very simple game that has a good depth to it. Going to the beautifully illustrated game now of Radlands. My Radlands Kickstarter showed up last week, and I got to break it out quite a few times. And I got the playmats with this one, which I'm so glad that I did. This is a 2-player card battling game set in the wasteland apocalypse. You start with 3 camps, and you win when you have destroyed all of your opponent's camps. You will get dealt 6 camps to start the game. You choose to keep 3. These camps will have certain abilities on them and will also determine how many cards players get in their opening hands. Each turn you start with 3 water, which is the resource you will use to play cards or activate abilities on cards already in play. You have 2 spots in front of your camps that you can play people in order to protect your camps. You also have events that you can play that have a timer on them that will activate after so many rounds. The cards are also multi-use. You can play a card for the actual card, or you can junk it to gain whatever instant action is shown on the card. I'm giving this game a 9 rating. I love the artwork of this game as well as the gameplay. The game is so tight, with everything being so important and each decision agonizing to make. You have less of everything than you want, you have very limited resources, you have very limited cards, but you have so many decisions to make with them. Let's move on to the last game of the week, 7 Wonders Architects. 7 Wonders Architects is the 3rd game in the 7 Wonders series. At the beginning of the game, each player is given a wonder they are trying to build along with a deck. They place that deck to the left of them in between players and put it face up. On a player's turn, they can take a card from the deck on their left or on their right, or a card from the communal deck that is in the center of the table. Cards will either have resources to help build their wonder, science cards to get tokens with special powers, military cards to help with battles with neighbors, and blue cards that will be straight up victory points. While you build your wonders, you build from bottom to top, slowly flipping over these monuments to their completed side, giving you a cool little visual. Once a player finishes their wonder, the game ends. The production and look of this game is almost mesmerizing. But this is only going to get a 6.5 rating from me, even though I'm a huge Seven Wonders fan. And I don't think this is bad, but this is a gateway style version of the original game. Almost to the point I was slightly disappointed by it. I would recommend this to someone looking for a simple, rules-light game, but if you are looking for something similar to the original game, this one might not be for you. And that will wrap up this reviews and ratings episode. What do you guys think of some of these games? Have you played any of them? Did our viewpoints kind of match up? Two games that I'm really interested to see how people are taking them is Radlands and Seven Wonders Architects. I think those are going to be two games that either people are going to really like or not really like at all. And I've kind of, Radlands I really liked. Architects I thought was kind of okay, but I'll never break out Architects over the regular Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders Duel versions. Either way, let me know in the comments below. And if you did like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.